Hello, I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to our latest broadcast on the Dan plus Tank live broadcast. It's Dank Live, and this is Tuesday, May 7th for me, 2019, here in the Philippines. And I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a recap to get started with what happened yesterday. So we kind of had a unique event that happened. I'm going to bring it up right now because it is very, very important to realize that how we started this actual broadcast with Tank was about the GCR, and it is so important. So we're going to listen to the Restored Republic via the GCR update as of May 4th, 2019. Now, this has been a source of information about the GCR for years. I do not know when they started, but I do know that I would hear this particular broadcast, and it was consistent. It was always available, and it is now announced that it is saying this is its last update. Now, the last update because of what, though, is the question, right? They're saying because the GCR is here and it's over. Well, it's been that way all this time. They've never said this is our last broadcast. But according to Tank, that basically the intelligence agencies and military intelligence that who've been running with this GCR, and been putting the information into the world through these channels, has pulled the plug. This is a monumental moment. So that's why I'm going to go over it. It's an 11-minute video. We're only going to listen to the first couple minutes. So here we go.
Restored Republic via GCR update as of May 4th, 2019. Below is a summary of information from the internet. It would be up to the individual reader to do their own research and decide whether or not it is valid. Patience is a virtue. Having virtue is a sign of a good moral being. Good moral beings have the power to overcome evil and change the world. Judy note, this would be my last Restored Republic via GCR report, as the title has come to fruition. The Restored Republic was on the horizon. All needed to complete the RV, GCR was done, Intel was frozen, and I have been advised to keep it quiet.
So it says Intel is now frozen. That's a very important statement.
Your guess was as good as mine as to when redemption notices and 800 numbers would be released. Read the below for clues on how to play that game.
So your guess is as good as mine as how we move on from here, right? How are we going to now continue with the GCR? Intel is frozen. They are not going to give out any more information because the GCR is over. The GCR has run its course. It is not happening, and hooray, because if you paid attention to GCR the Big Lie, how we started this series over 2 months ago. For 15 days straight, we basically, Tank and I came on and we talked about what the GCR is and why it's not going to go forward, or why we don't want it. That it's really a plan for ultimate domination and ending up killing off most of the people on the planet. 9 out of 10 people would be gone. Now that's their stated goal, as stated. many numbers have rolled by out of the depopulation agenda. Everyone from Bill Gates to TED Talks to everything that has been telling us this is what it's about: depopulation. Agenda 21. Now it's Agenda 2030. Depopulation. How are they going to depopulate? How are they going to depopulate? They're telling us they're depopulating. How? Well, one way is to crash the world economy by basically unloading so much cash that it devalues all of it, and then nothing. The final straw to basically collapse. Squeeze all the money out of the system so that nobody has anything. Then dump a whole bunch and prices rise through the roof. You think it wouldn't cost $100 trillion to buy a loaf of bread in America? Well, it happened in Zimbabwe. Why wouldn't it happen in America? Where do you think most of this cash would have been dumped? Millions of people out there with this excess cash. Yeah. It's so much cash that no one would be able to buy anything because the prices would be going up while you're negotiating the price. You'd be negotiating up, up. Oh, you didn't send the money quick enough. It's up higher. So, I'll continue a little bit further here.
Including reports of the last week as shown in links at the bottom. GCR problems have been resolved with exchange centers on standby, paymaster accounts liquid, rates locked into bank screens and trading live. The Iraqi dinar and USTN started trading May 1st. Certain whales have been paid out so they could pay others, and as of this writing, prosperity packages were being delivered. While on Wednesday, May 15th, the general public was set to start exchanges, we in the private internet group have long been told we would go at least a week to 10 days prior, and all at once, with 800 numbers and notification for appointments expected at any time. Got it then, get it. Restore.
See, it's the same stuff they've been saying every day. I used to say every week, but it's been every day. They'll say the same thing, same information over and over and over. But she just said it's an intel freeze. No more information coming out. It's over. So that's why I wanted to start off with this, is to really express, that this has been a big part of my life, to work on historical bonds, to find out about how the financial system was originally constructed, to determine what direction to go to build a new abundance-based world. So the world is changing. There's a large effort to move forward now. The Trust the Plan of QAnon has been coming out, and of course the tank comes in on cue. There we go. I said, trust the plan. The tank comes right on. So, I just went over the Restore Republic video, and so how important it is to realize that the GCR is over.
I believe the big move they were trying to make this weekend to, their last attempt to push the GCR, maybe not their last, I mean, who knows, but one of their latest attempts to push the GCR through was they were trying to bring down gold from North Korea. That's what they were saying. And I heard about some gold that was being, sent. You mentioned about gold being sent to the, from the Emperor of Japan to Hawaii. Kim said, nope, that's not the case either, for Chase Bank there. So there's all types of things that are, they continue to try to do to take ownership of something that's not theirs, right? Because they believe that everything is theirs, that they own everything. and that is the reality. They all think that they can take whatever they want whenever they want. So you can imagine that they're all throwing temper tantrums right now because every time they go to get something, they keep getting their hand slapped, and you know, so but they keep trying. They're so used to getting their way, they cannot even conceive of a reality where they don't win. They just can't.
Well, and so you have the Rothschilds bowing out of the banking business, right? Sold their trust business, sold off their lands, right? Why? Why? Why would they be doing these things? You know, what's their if they're all into their success of the GCR? Why would they be selling their chateaus, their lands? I mean, a huge forest, the Black Forest. You know, why would these things be happening? You know, if they are able to proceed and have now they know the writing's on the wall for themselves. They just don't want to let the other people, their minions, know, right?
Well, you know what? And to be honest, they don't even own the Black Forest, right? That's registered in the trust. And the things that they think they have, they don't own. So what is happening in reality is they keep finding out, wow, we don't own anything, do we? Right? Because they can't sell it, they can't leverage it, they can't make money off it, they can't put it back in the system. Uh, you know, I checked this out today. I think this is pretty significant that uh, one of my vets, a friend of mine, she went to cash a check, one of her a U.S. Department of the Treasury check, right?
Oh, you're muted. Hank, you're muted. And Tank is gone. So the U.S. Department of Energy check could not be cashed. No, I'm sorry, Department of Treasury cash. Yeah, you know the Department of Treasury check for $10 could not be cashed. Oh, okay. You can. I continued for you, Tank. I said the US Department of Treasury check for $10 could not be cashed. I didn't know how long it would take you to come back.
Yeah. So I mean, that to me is one of the strongest signs, right? So I asked Kim about that, and we're in one of those times where everything is like covert operations, so it's hard to get straight answers. So I get bits and pieces because obviously I'm broadcasting every night. If it's something that's not supposed to be out there, obviously it doesn't benefit the purpose to share it.
Right.
But this is my own experience. That you know what they said to them was what my friend was told is that the system's down, right? They said the system's down. The Treasury system to identify that check, which I believe is actually goes to the Federal Reserve, it's not working. It's not there. Like they can't identify it. So that's a real time witness to exactly what we've told you. Kim shut down the Department of the Treasury because they didn't want to, they refused to do what they were supposed to. And because they continue to want to employ and leave as the head of this organization a known terrorist, right? I mean, if you commit treason repeatedly against the country you reside, I feel like you are a domestic terrorist, right? Is that fair to say? Or is that term?
I would say so.
Yeah, so it's a known terrorist, right? And as far as I'm concerned, that should be taken care of immediately. I mean, wouldn't you like to know that when there is a known terrorist on your soil doing things right now, that somebody loves the people enough to go take care of that? So that is certainly something that I can imagine that you have all types of military personnel who are chomping at the bit waiting for that call to go in on that mission.
Right.
I guarantee you'd have plenty of guys ready to go because they know that when they've been told to go do things that, they didn't understand or didn't necessarily agree with, but, they assumed it was for the greater good. You know what? One of the guys who has contributed to that, it is working directly, I guess, for, whoever the Chinese elders, higher ups, or whoever it is that he's serving, because they don't have any minds of their own, right? They only serve. That's all they can do. They don't have any original ideas. They don't have anything that's innovative or unique. All they do is recycle the same old garbage. So you can rest assured, what did they do this weekend? They tried to, they went to these vaults in North Korea, I guess, to get this gold. They were going to try to do the RV. And then when they got there, guess what happened? There was no gold there again, right? So they just found out. So all of these assets, all the are out there in Cabal country, where you're sitting around crafting your next plan because you think you have, like it's like you're trying to find money in your mom's couch or something. All of your stuff has been moved. It's
Dig through
there's
those
not.
cushions.
What's that?
Dig through the cushions.
Yeah. So you're not gonna. It's just not going to happen. You're not ever going to get the money. You can't. So this weekend was on defense. That's what they were trying to pull off. Their latest, effort to pull off the fake RV. Their last ditch effort. But who knows? The Restored Republic steps down and they say, that they're not doing any more broadcasts. I believe what she said, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, is that she was told not to do any more broadcasts. Is that correct?
She said that the intel was frozen.
Yeah. So the reason why the intel's frozen is because the lie factory, known as the Chinese Elders, that meets every Thursday morning, that I used to get intel directly from their meetings, right? And that's where all of the psyops is generated. They realize, the psyops is going to doesn't really serve us anymore. The military has turned their back on them, so they don't have any protection. So the only idiots who are still on board with them, is Eric Prince and Blackwater. You guys are, I guess that set of mercenaries is still in the service of the Chinese elders or whoever else it is out there. But for you guys, I know you're military in there somewhere as well. If you remember any honor or code, let me just tell you this as well. When you made the decision to go out and work for money, regardless of what you'd have to do, because that's what your skill set required, I want you to know they don't have any money. So you are no longer, just working for money to do something noble like take care of your family. You are now working for no reason. You are executing the agenda of people that see you as slaves, including Eric Prince, because he wants to be the king of North America, last I heard, which I guess is one of the regions.
Yeah. Well, King Prince, right? Isn't that a little confusing?
Yeah, but I think it would catch on, right? He'd probably have people executed if they didn't know, because he wants absolute military dominance, right? The largest civilian military on the planet, Blackwater. They're of equal size to the United States Army. I would imagine they're probably more in depth with the NATO military. They're probably
And who pays for that?
the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds pay for that. Anybody who needs private security, they've been guarding the Chinese elders for some time.
So when the military budget goes to the Pentagon and they send half to the Rothschilds then use that money to pay for their own private army.
Correct.
Okay? And so since that money didn't go from the $2 trillion that popped in to the Pentagon, right? Then the Rothschilds called up, send that money to us right now.
Yeah, send it to us. You don't know what to do with it. We will handle the money because it's like, who do you guys think you are? Delusional.
We are gods.
I know you are not gods. You are the end of generations of inbreeding. Like, it doesn't. I know you think that makes you more powerful and smarter, but we've caught on. Humanity knows who we are. We know that they took the best of everything to make us. So all your inbreeding didn't help you, didn't make you smarter than us or better than us or more powerful. Everybody, everybody else is just as powerful, if not more so, and probably more so. But in an effort not to create some kind of elitist division, I won't go there. But I'll say this: they certainly, the only reason why they have any power right now is because of history and position. And the previous ones who actually had power and knowledge of, were a little more developed, they put them in a position where they felt that they were dominant, and that because they were bloodline and they were the offspring, they were the children. You are the slaves, and you would have died like with everybody else. Everybody else. And anybody who's underneath them, it's even worse. They outline this very clearly of how they will kill you, right? They're going to isolate you to some place where no one will ever hear from you again. It won't be the glory life that you think, right? In all likelihood, they'll put you in some underground cavern and tell you that the world was blown up by nuclear missiles and you're protected, right? And you'll be in some underground place having no idea what's true or not. See, it's easy to say. That's what they would do.
So you stay down here.
Yeah.
Close the lid.
Yeah, yeah. We're keeping you safe. It's really dangerous up here. It's terrible. you know, like just throw you some scraps from their table.
Yeah, it's like they did with the off-worlders, right? They told them that the Earth was blown up in the 80s. That so we can't go back. Those crazy people there, they blew up the planet.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I mean, that's fascinating. I mean, I just heard that from you. I've never heard anybody else talk about that. That's cool. I mean, not cool, but it's just interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is definitely worth, a couple of movies, I'm sure, that they'll be coming out with these. They actually, if you think about this, actually was done on Stargate SG-1. They had similar things. They also had the depopulation agenda on one of those episodes where they had this alien race come in, and then they extended their life. Right, everyone was living 200 years longer, but the fertility rate dropped. Right, to where they were going to be gone. Right, when that generation died out, even though they were living longer, they'd actually be gone, and the aliens are left behind. Right, with all the infrastructure and everything.
Well, there is this is true. And you can check out the Ruiners blog. If anybody ever really wants to dive into, the rabbit hole. But he talks about how a lot of times when they show things that are off planet, they're actually on planet. Right?
Where again? I didn't hear what blog.
It's the Ruiner, RUINER, and I forget. And then there's some numbers, but I can't remember what they are. But if you just look up the Ruiner, it'll pop right up.
Okay.
But he was raised, in the Illuminati, and he ruined things for them constantly, right? You've heard him on Thomas's show. Shane is what his regular name is, and but he goes into just amazing, very well written blog, and he did this for people that were trying to leave the order. It wasn't really meant for mainstream, but just we caught on, and once you put it out online, it's there forever, right?
Right.
But he does talk about how these incredible underground cities and things like that, right? Where they would create for people, and they'd create the illusion of it being somewhere off planet, right? In some cases. So I wouldn't be surprised if the people you're talking about that are quote unquote off planet, they're probably on planet, but they just think they're off planet.
That's that other series called Salvation, I believe is what it was called, or Ascension. They had a fake spaceship that they put underground, right? And they got all the astronauts on, right? And they were all going to leave, but it's all an illusion. They've had them there for 50 years, right? So they're already having kids, and they have their own little society on ship while they're leaving to go to Alpha Centauri, kind of.
Wow.
But it's about
I guarantee that's real. I guarantee that exists on the planet somewhere.
Yeah, what they were doing though is in that compressed tank, right, of humanity, right? They were trying to force ascension, evolution to happen, right, by putting all the smartest people together, right, and then have them breed and stay in this environment, but then there was, it was only one season of this. They haven't renewed it seems like, so I don't think it will extend. But towards the end, there was one girl that was literally being able to see things clairvoyantly, and she was obviously the one that was ascending. Anyway, that's so I would say these stories that they put out there, that they're already just informing us of stuff that they've already done. So maybe it is some off planet, some are not. We're just when you're going to be doing breeding experiments on your cattle, you put them up in different situations, and you change their food and do all sorts of things to try and maximize your profits.
Yep, that's absolutely true. So this whole the human experiment, right? And they're it's right now it's really incredible when you think about it that you've had all these people, and we just subjected ourselves and some soul contract to just absolutely impossible circumstances, right? Where for us to wake up, it would just seem impossible to do. Lo and behold, despite impossible odds, we have done it. Now, there's just no way to let that genie out of the bottle, or put that genie back in the bottle, rather. We're in a state where the consciousness of humanity is only expanding right now, and every day people become a little bit more educated. They learn a little bit more, and right now in this war with the bankers, we were talking to the group there in Hawaii today about, I thought was pretty, it's pretty fascinating. That people just don't realize, they're still trying to go down the same pathways that have been laid. So it's a massive responsibility when you realize, look, we have to create new pathways. We have to create new ways of doing things. We have to, establish what the real law is.
Right.
And that is definitely something that's going to take some time, and it's going to be incredibly fun too. When people are actually allowed to make decisions that the intended result actually happens the way they planned. How incredible is that? I mean, after a lifetime of being beat down in submission.
Yeah, it's. I think that we're an amazing race. We're able to, some of the things coming out of David Wilcox and Corey Good and those in that group. They're saying that we've had so much tinkering over the millenniums from different races, right? That we've become like some of the best engineers in the galaxy or in the universe or whatever. We're in high demand.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true. So, what happened new and exciting today? I mean, outside of what I saw with my own eyes, I didn't actually. I mean, with people I was talking to, I can tell you that Wells Fargo introduced today for the first time that I saw, anyways, was this facial recognition, made it mandatory for you to have facial recognition. Now, in my personal opinion, that's something Kim and I talked about a year ago. She said would be needed for the bank so that she could implement, the way that the system works is that it identifies your DNA, right?
Right.
So the question was, how do you put that in? How do you put that in place? I suspect that may be what she did, right? Because you have to do something like that if you're going to secure the financial system so we can move money.
Right.
So if we're going to be able to move money, you have to be able to do that. And you have to be able to. It has to be able to recognize you're not distressed and being held at gunpoint, and so you can still make bad decisions, but at least it's the money should go where you intend it to go to.
Yep. Well, that's for them to identify people by facial recognition, I think is probably the best overall. But it's it has to be other factors than just facial recognition. Especially with all the other technologies that are coming about, right? You could take someone else's face and put it on top of that. So we see that with Ginsburg happening, right?
No, you actually can't. So if it's what she has, right? What she told me about. If there's someone who had reconstructive surgery on their face or something, or it would sense and pick up all those things and be able to recognize it right away. But I don't think it would actually be just facial recognition. I think it actually would be designed to identify your essence. You know, that you are who you say you are.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's and they would just call it facial recognition because you know you have to look into it for it to connect with you.
Well, I had about 3 years into development of biometric technologies, where said we filed for patents and we're working on these different things. And no, our initially we were just using fingerprints, right? But we were moving into using facial recognition as in a combination with say fingerprint or also a code. So let's say you wanted to transfer money or do a transaction that was say over, I don't know, say $1,000, require you to put in a code also, whatever you set it, right? If you $500 or whatever, 10,000 or whatever you want to set your code at, you would require this extra level of you putting in a passcode on top of the facial recognition. So just extra layers. But what I was also checking into was literally being able to read your aura.
Yeah.
Right? Because believe it or not, these sensors are already in. I don't know about say the Samsung phones, but I know inside the Apple iPhones, there's a lot of sensors in there that are not being used.
Yep.
Right? And that technology exists, to access that within the chips that are in the phone to actually get those sensors to read your aura. Now that means different things. You read a magnetic influence, electrical, profile of who's actually holding the phone. So, and even to the extent of them using you as an antenna, that's a technology that I don't think actually ended up working well. But anyway, it's been a little while since I've been out of that. about 5 years. So I'm sure there's some advances in the last 5 years since was deep into it. So, but yeah, this is a world in which it's really about the individual, right? And your value has always been recognized by the system, but they didn't let you recognize your value. Right? That you have this value that is infinite because you're a creator. A recent video I put up was trying to demonstrate the difference between value and price. And I said, well, here's a gold statue of a woman, and here's a beautiful woman. Which has more value? Right. So many people will say it's the gold. I would say that it's a heavy majority, towards maybe even 80% of people, 8 out of 10 would say it's the gold statue that has more value. Right. So now some people will know that I know it's the live person, but I don't know why. Right.
Yeah.
But the reason is because we're creators.
That's right.
Who created the gold statue?
That's right. That's right.
And you could create another gold statue and another one and another. Oh, well, you had to have the gold. Okay. Well, what about you had an invention? You patented this wonderful invention, and it made you $1 trillion. And the very next moment, you created another invention that was worth $1 trillion. Well, who has more value at that point? Is it the invention, or it's the one creating the invention? So we're the ones that have the infinite value. So that's why they want to treat us as batteries in the matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they want to tap in the whole financial structure that exists by creating that birth certificate to create that entity for them to trade on, because they recognize that has the value. But you're supposed to be the beneficiary. But you always volunteer to say, when they ask, who is the responsible party, please raise your hand. The trustee is the responsible party, the one required to pay all the fines, all the fees, all the taxes. you raise your hand. Why? Why do you say that that is you that is the responsible party? You're just the beneficiary, right? So,
Right.
so we're the system recognizes the value in the people, but we don't recognize our value. I recognize mine, and I know Tank, you recognize yours. Kim obviously recognizes hers. Thomas recognizes hers. Tui recognizes his. Everyone on this call recognizes that they are of infinite value. But this is the job we have, is to go out there and explain this and express it to people in a way so that they know that they are of infinite value.
Absolutely.
So when you want to compare who's more valuable, me or Tank, me or Kim, right? Tank or Thomas. We all have infinite value, which means we all have the same maximum value that there is possible. So that's why you cannot have one over the other, which again, when you then get into sovereignty, you then have to get into the conversation of well, there's the monarch, which is the one that's over all the others, right? That system, the pyramid system, which Kim is, by default, and is that the right word? Probably not the right word, default, but that the one that was placed into that position because of the DNA and everything. So she's put in the place of where this other system was created by the others, the order. That system was put into place to create that a system of removing the value from us and sending it to the small group at the top. We're really just down to the one.
I thought about this though, with the with the plan of the experts, right? To breed all the royal families until you had the one who was left over, right?
Right.
In reality, I realized they always knew this genetic anomaly was coming, right? And the genetic anomaly is human. Like him is 99.8% human. And they were trying to breed this other, whatever, combination of bloodlines of various groups. I don't know who all of them are, but it's like 127 different royal families or something. But what this proves out in reality is the value of humanity. I mean, Kim's existence and the fact that she's the one that has access to the eternal, and she is the one who is taking the reason why they hate her, because her existence shows that they're not worthy. They could not do it. So her very existence, and then on top of that, all by herself, she has been whooping them. Right? They've got all these assets, all this money. That's not what she's doing. She's connected to source. Matter of fact, and she was appointed by God, right? Because that's where your DNA comes from. Let's say,
Right.
So it is a divine appointment, which I'm not sure a lot of people want to have fully embraced that, but that's what you had happen all throughout history. When this anomaly would occur, people didn't believe the Messiah was who he was, right? But that was the last time you had the same genetic anomaly. Before that was Joshua the son of Nun. And when Joshua had the opportunity, he sat there with them and he told him, he said, "Look, I'm the one who led you out. I'm the one who did all this." And he went into a whole long thing about it. No one ever even talks about it. He told all of it. So I'm just fascinated by that, and I think we're in just an incredibly, overwhelmingly exciting time. And I do believe, it is my hope. This is not intel. This is just my, what I'm gleaning from my personal experiences today. I went into my personal account into Wells Fargo, and I wasn't allowed to log on without, they wanted me. I couldn't use my regular fingerprint. They wanted to use some kind of biomarker, with facial recognition, which I had not seen before. But that feature wasn't even connected yet, so you couldn't even do it yet, which is interesting because that says to me like, oh, I wonder if the system is just upgrading, right? Like, sometimes when Kim's doing an upgrade, she'll synchronize it after hours. and then one of my contacts, who was a veteran, she went in and couldn't cash a U.S. Treasury check, right? So you can imagine if you can't cash a U.S. Treasury check, right? You know what that means? That means all the tax refunds coming back, they're not going to be able to cash them either. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just saying if it were to happen today, right?
Yeah, well, the system is offline. Why is the system offline?
Right.
Right. They can't do anything, with the system being offline. Here, I've got a ton of cash I'd like to deposit into my account. Arrest that person right away.
Right. So of course, what you're going to have happen is, right, they're going to spin the narrative to benefit the RV, right, to try and justify that narrative, right? So they're going to be like, oh no, because the economy is about to crash, because they all want the economy to crash, right? That's the dream when you're in the, in the RV. We all expected the economy to crash, right?
Right.
And like, but you just think of all the things it's just a perpetual state of like having the wrong information, in the RV, they were always telling us how, the wise, benevolent Chinese, and how, the greedy, fat Americans we were, that this is why we were being shamed, right? That's how they could justify their horrible treatment, to, fake the funk on the RV, turn around like, we're an RV. Oh no, we didn't do it because of the cabal. Well, yeah, that's kind of true because they are the cabal, that's why it didn't happen, right? And in the process, they just created an entire generation of the most innovative minds, the most creative, most benevolent, the kindest, the healers. All of those people just became stagnant. And they took all of our dreams and they just fed off of our anxiety and frustration. So, like I said, I already put the challenge out there. I told everybody, and I still feel very strongly that, without question, that it will definitely help. That go out and combat them. Go to war and use love as your shield. Use kindness and benevolence.
Yeah.
Appreciation.
Well, I've got some other news that we can cover. I can show the new website.
Cool.
It's functional, and since we want to look at how we combat this, is to start organizing us into where we can get the information. So this is the site. It's wwg1wga.love. So where we go one, we go all. .love. Welcome to the rebellion. So I could go through and read this as well, but we're really I just do kind of a little quick review and say this is basically the plan to save the world. Talks about the U.S. military and the family dynasties and what we're up against, right? And we're trying to organize this in a way that expresses all the main concepts. And so it breaks it down into these goals for the plan. One is the Great Awakening. The other is the dark, bringing dark to light, so the complete destruction of the enemy. And scarcity to abundance, to restructure the financial system. Right. So all of these are the main goals. And if we go and look at what the plan is, we'll actually then break those goals down into some subcategories. So the Great Awakening has, QAnon as the way to wake up the people to come up with a new source of information. Red pills are, getting people to realize that how deep the deception has been, and to give that to people to, bring them along up to speed on where things are, and to be part of what is known as the digital army. So how do we train to be part of that? And in the dark light, we have to basically drain the swamp, destroy the deep state of socialism, communism, and sadism. And then, to rebuild our nation states, to work on countries and to make strong countries. And then restructuring the financial system, we have to first, take out the dark money control. Dark money is about all of those systems that are out there that are made illegal, right? So that they can be profited from, whether it's a drug trade, all the different trafficking from people to animals. There's even tobacco is part of the illicit trades that are done. So anything that breaks a rule, they can make money off of it, and they do. And there's three sides to that have been identified by QAnon, and that's Soros, Saudi Arabia, and Rothschilds. And the Saudis have already been taken out of that position. And then to nationalize the Federal Reserve, and then to replace the debt slavery system with an abundant sovereign system. Like my little graphic here, I've got the debt slave attached to the credit card.
Yeah.
Right. So all of this is basically the layout of how it's to work. And we have here where you join, right? And this is how to participate, right? At first you set up a login, which is right here. You can just click in right here, and it'll bring up the login screen, and you go ahead and create your information. I also have a code of conduct on here. So, will not lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those that do. Conduct yourself with integrity, treat people with dignity and respect, and commit to being responsible and taking action. So I'm not going to go through that sign-up process, but after you've done that, then you can choose your access level. So citizen means you're just part of our group, and you have access to the blogs. If you contribute every month $1.11.
Wait, Dan, after you told everybody that citizen means slave, you think maybe...
Yeah, I know. Well, that I kind of it's kind of like the educational process to basically say, if you're here and going to just view things, right? You've entered this realm as a debt slave, right? Take some action and at least join for $1.11 a month. And then you get access to the forums, right? And when you initially you get blogs, right? So the information coming out in the blog you'll get notices every time a blog is posted. So that's at the citizen level. You get read into the blogs. Then when you want to start participating, you can then get into the forums, and that's at the $1.11. And then at the Rebel level, we'll have a separate Rebel chat, and then you can create some categories in the forums, right? So you get to participate at a higher level. And then the Rebel Commander is basically the same as the monthly, but it's just a little bit of a discount. And if you see, I've kept the numbers. It's 99.99. So. And then the next part is setting up your communication, set up your comms. So your email is the first part. That's whitelisting your email. Send an email immediately, right? So you sending an email to this email actually will clear the way, right? So that things are more fluid through the back channels of the email system that we're being more squeezed out of. But this helps with this. And then if you have a whitelist in your email system, add the email to that, and then go here and then subscribe. When you do these things, this actually helps eliminate things from ending up in spam. Right, and then the next is to send a message in our site. This is the internal messaging system. And then, the Telegram group, join the Telegram group. group is click on there to connect. And then the social connections, go ahead and subscribe to these channels. This is the new channel, the Where We Go All Love channel, right? Please subscribe there. And of course, you haven't subscribed to my original channel right here. We're on right now. You do that here. And then there's a Facebook link and a Twitter link. And so once you've gone through that, then you would be able to go through and participate and get into the other parts. Now, in the front lines here, this is all the different categories, so you can go direct. Now, right now there's only basically a title for each one of these, right? But these are all intended to where we'll bring more information. So this is just on QAnon. So there's a lot about QAnon, but right now this is just the start. But everything related to QAnon will then flow in down below. This is information, access to things that are important about QAnon. We'll find just below here. And as for the forums, let me go ahead and log in. Member. And you can see I got logged in. Here's my name up here at the top. I can go to my account. And here's where you actually can get to like your blog comments and other things. So let's see. Here's like if you made any comments on blogs, they would appear here to keep track of your own. If you liked any blogs, they would appear here. If you did any posts in the forums, it would appear here. All right, and comments, and then notifications, and then also other members. So you can also follow other members from here. And you can keep track of like who you're following or not, all from this spot. So now I'll go to the forum. So the latest posts are just above. So there's only been 2 so far that I put in there. These are the main categories: Rebel Training, Plan to Save the World, Great Awakening, Light to Dark, and the New Financial System. So you can't create anything at this level unless you're up at the next level. Then if you want to create a whole section, a whole category, we could talk about that and add it in here. But otherwise, you can basically dive into these individuals, and this is where you can actually go ahead and participate in and add new things from here. So if I go in and look at this one, welcome to the War Room. It's like the entry level one, and you can make comments on here. You can make likes. So I put a little heart here. I click on that, and that would end up showing that I like this one. If I went back to my profile in my member page, I'd be able to see the ones that I had liked, and I can find them. Also helps me find the other ones. So we start the social interaction. So anyway, it's all up and running right now. You're welcome to come in and join and participate. Everything that we're collecting as information, I want to put here. Oh, there was actually one more spot I forgot to go to.
hey Dan.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I gotta I luckily someone reminded me, but I got a broadcast right now at 10 o'clock. So
okay.
But it's just gonna be an hour, and if you're still on, I'll come back on. But
no problem. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Cool.
I'll see you later.
All right. Okay.
So let's see. So now Tui was on earlier with me and the Hawaiian group. We had a tank, and Tui we were all three on with some of the Hawaiian leaders and their projects. This was the Maui group. They are looking at their projects as to create food, create housing, reclaim the land. There's existing deed patents, right? And then there's land that is up for sale. Like 40,000 acres, that kind of thing. Very large tracts of land that literally are in the what I call the tax overlay system. That's where the state has come in and put on top of the existing owners of the land a system in which you can't own the land, but you only have title or the rights to use the land. So you can get rights, but you can't get the deed patent of the land. So we were having that discussion. So I don't know if Tui is going to come on for now, because we had already covered things, but I did send him the link. Let me also go and let me see if there's anyone that wants to come on here in the chat room. I'll post the link. So I'm going to break this link up into two sections. There's the whole link. I don't know if people will see, because it's truncating the link. So I'm going to go ahead and give it in two sections. There's the first part, the second part. So you'd have to assemble those two together, because for some reason, when they're getting the link, I'm just posting the whole link, it's not taking you to the actual broadcast. So anyway, we have 191 word on. If you have any questions about the Where We Go When We Go.love website, I'd love to be able to walk you through it. And maybe go through the sign-up process so you can see how your accounts work and how you can interact with others. Come in late in his new website. What does that mean? Came in late? Is this yes? Oh, I get you down. You came in late. Yes. The new website is for really, a place to coordinate how to get out into the world and take the information to red pill people into knowing exactly what is there. So I'll go back and share that again. Share the site. Share the site. Yeah, and Bro just came on. Hello, Bro. Hi, Bro.
Hi.
Yeah, Bro just came on. Hello, Bro.
Hi.
Oh, you have the volume turned up too high in the background. It's going to cause an echo.
Hi.
Bro just came on. Hello, Bro.
Hi.
You have the volume turned up the YouTube channel. It's going to cause an echo. Bro just came on. Hello, Bro. You have the volume turned up the YouTube channel. Cause an echo. You got it, Bro? Yeah, wherever you're playing the YouTube channel, you'd have to mute it. It's not the Hangouts, the channel. That's what happens. So. Not the Hangouts. You muted the Hangouts, so now you can't talk. See, that's the give and take here. You gotta know that on the YouTube channel it's playing, right? And then you started Hangouts. So Hangouts is a separate, window. And so from there you can mute as well, but then I can't hear you. But if you go back to the YouTube channel and just mute the channel, then we can talk in Hangouts. You'll hear everything. Well, I'll just continue with this a little bit, and then if you're ready to talk, unmute yourself in Hangouts, not on YouTube. So I'm going to go back here to the war room, and we can basically go into any of these topics. But for right now, I've only just got started, so there's way more that's going to be happening. So you'll see, like under the Great Awakening, we're going to have different people in here participating. So we go under Red Pill. So what I would put in here is post new on making things that are subjects. So let's say I found a video out there and I wanted to get that video to everyone. It would be a really good red pill, so that if you need to send red pills to people, you'd come here, find your red pills. Maybe I should call this the pharmacy. Maybe make a sub conversation, the pharmacy, video pharmacy, something like that. So anyway, so you can get the idea where this is a way of expressing how we can get the information coordinated all through this website. Right, so that this is a way that we can find, out what the latest news that's coming out of QAnon. So that would also be, then back again, come back to here. Again, that would QAnon would be under the Great Awakening. Down to here's QAnon. Okay, under QAnon, then we'd find the separate different little posts here that were done. So here's the first one. We'll look at it. All right, this just talks about QAnon, what it is, right? And we can make comments and talk about this one. Oh, I like this one. Well, I give a like. If you wanted to pass that on through Twitter, you could just click on Twitter and bang, it would send it over into Twitter. I just tweeted it out. And this top part is just where we're at, from the latest posts. Again, I've only done 2. So again, if I go back over now into my profile under my account, I can go look over the blog or the forum. Oh, I don't see where I see forum likes. I wonder if it's under blog likes. No. Forum posts. No forum posts. And forum comments. No forum. I guess the forum likes is not in here. I wonder if I'll see if I can add that in. And in your settings here, you can also go in here and, oh, well, I didn't subscribe, so I make sure the subscribe is done. When you go through the subscriptions of this particular account, I actually didn't have it already set up. But why don't I go ahead and I'll click on that. So the subscription is very important to have that. Make sure that when a blog post is done, it'll go and give you a notice, and then you can click on it and go right there. And if you want to follow members. Now, right now, some of these are let's just say temporaries that I put in there just so that I can see what it looks like. Right? And then, of course, here's my profile. I'm following one. I'm following Tank, right? Of course, here's my account. And I can go in and I can edit my account. I can put in photos. Go. And that was talking about subscription. So that was also that it would since the whole subscription part is new. It was this part down here that wasn't there when I first signed up myself. Now, but that's also a place that you can do it as from your membership. So, all right, so this is so as I said, this is up and running. Please, I welcome you to all come in and join. This would be, I'd like to expand this out as much as possible so that we can have one place where we can start gathering this information. I can also see, like, how to, there's different videos that come out. So for example, we just had this Hawaiian video that we just finished just an hour before we get on. So I can put that up. Oh, Tui is asking for the link. I thought I sent it to him. Oh. Indeed. Well, let me send it to you now, Tui. 1 second. Give the full link here. There we go, Tui. Oh, I guess I'm looking at my my Telegram. That Michael McCarthy says, "Hey Dan, love the show." Oh, thank you. And Wasabi Ginger from Hawaii. So yeah, so we just had this other video that we just did, and so I would make that video about Hawaii in Hawaiian section that would, here's a question, where would that fall? So we have these areas that now have been defined, these categories. Where do we want to bring this under? So we're talking about restructuring and globalism into nationalism. So let me just say, I'll bring that up so we can talk about it while we're on the subject here. So we go back in here. Okay, destroy globalism. How do we destroy globalism, right? Well, the way to counter centralized global new world order is for every man and woman to stand up and be responsible and take action. In other words, honor our own sovereignty. We hold the power to lend our power to those that we select to handle tasks for our local towns and countries. We will decentralize the power and make it harder for those that want to enslave the masses. So basically, we would put that information in here under Hawaii, right? So what's happening in Hawaii? What's happening in Fiji? We would put that down here as information on where we can find that. We would also post the news, again, back into the war room. We would then go back down into here, which is under dark to light, destroy globalism. We would go ahead and add information in here. So there was some new news information that was coming in a form. We would post that here. So then you have your followers, the people that knew that you just posted something here about Hawaii, right? And everyone would then be notified. Oh, there's new stuff about Hawaii. Hey, let's go on. Which island? Oh, this is the Maui. Oh, this is the main one. This is the so whatever the group you would be able to post it here and help coordinate. So again, it's about you taking action and doing things to have things in these different areas. You can coordinate it from this site, right? And then again, the people that would follow you because you were talking about Hawaii, you can then go back and check and see your notifications, right? Which is this little bell up here. And it would then take you again to your member page under notifications, and you have your notifications right here. So again, this is if you use the site and you take action, and others do too, then this all will flow, and it'll give us one place that we can coordinate from. So I hope that is a good explanation for you. So again, you'd access your member pages from here. You can also log out. So we'll, and this will expand the more as we go. Well, I'll keep adding more to it. But this is the general setup, and I hope this is going to be very helpful to everyone. So what do you think, Tui?
I think it's amazing. Good.
Well, I'm glad you think it's amazing. Yeah. And the rooster also, he's decided to crow in on this one.
Yes.
So, well, we had a good meeting with the Hawaiians, and I think, the message is getting out, that we need to, focus on getting our projects done, right? Not worry about the politics of certain things because, everyone wants to get in and focus on, well, no, it's only can be done this way. No. You have your way of doing things. Go ahead and do it. Get your project going. And then that helps bring everyone together because everyone starts participating where they want to participate, and everything will work its way out in the end. Oh, he's muted again.
Yes, indeed.
So do you want to add anything, Tui? Do we have another delay?
I was just wanna just if there's a chance, I just wanna just talk about the sorry, is there a delay? I'll just keep talking. I just want to talk about what happened today, and talking with the Hawaiian elders. I'm very happy that the awareness is getting out, and whatever form it may be, the awareness of it is very, very important, because I truly believe that this is this is what is needed. The problem that we have right now is that so many people in the world don't fully understand the extent of what the reset that that we are talking about with the elders, and what the Manna World Holding Trust and Kim and the Create Change, the team, what they mean, and what Thomas Williams is doing. And not a lot of people have access to this information, and this keeps them in the dark, and it slows the change, or slows down, or which is accelerating. It's accelerating really well, and that is one, like I said with the chiefs, and we said this is one of the things that people, the whole world needs to know. There has to be like a big shaking of the awareness of the people, and all the projects. If that could be part of the projects, just to create this awareness and let people know about the reset of sovereignty. Because there's a lot of us still holding on to the old way of understanding the structure and the rules, the laws, and sovereignty, and what it means to the people, what it means by law, and what it means to the current current structure that we have in our different countries, and we still think in that manner. But if people can fully understand that the reset has already happened, that that's what we would represent in Fiji. Be able to remind people that all the sovereignty they've been thinking that used to be, or other people that are sovereign, whether it is the crown or the queen in England, or whether whatever king in whatever state or whatever nation that would be, the sovereignty has come to an end. And the reset is very important for people to understand, because this is the only way we can break this illusion. Otherwise, then we'll always try and we'll always try and do a change, but the change will always be in the old illusion, and we'll never be able to create anything new. And I think this is one of the most important things in our role, Dan and you and Tank. So we've knew I knew, I mean, all the chiefs knew this, because there'll be a lot of people who won't be able to accept or won't be able to see that the reset it has multiple levels, not just not just the illusion of the law or the structure, the government structures or the corporate structures, but it also comes from the spiritual essence of things. And people need to understand that this has already happened, and they will understand. As soon as they do, they will understand what the Manna World Holding Trust represent, and what it means to be the beneficiary of the trust. And they would be able to do what they're supposed to do, and like regain their sovereignty by by the access that they will have to the asset, and what they would be able to do with the asset, and the change that they're supposed to use the asset in a certain way that is a beneficiary not to just them but to the whole planet. And this information and this understanding, I think, is very, very important. And thank you, Dan. You're doing a very great job now that you've introduced the website, and to just accelerate things a little. Here in Fiji, I'm doing it physically, so I'm trying to talk to people every day, introducing them to all system, and because they already know, everyone in the world right now have experience, and they know that we're in a state of slavery. If we don't wake up, we'll be stuck in this state, for whatever, however long that it may be. That will truly depend on you as an individual, and to be able to create this, this, like always bring us back to the role that the Za or the Ra Confederacy, which is us, the embodiment of, and what it means to project this awareness to the rest of the planet, or to the rest of humanity. We'll be doing it here, and that's why I wanted to, every time I will try and invite everyone to come over, and we will do this together. So we will be setting up a TV station. I will be setting up a radio station. We'll be setting up a printing company. We'll be doing all this just to accelerate this awareness, and we'll be creating a website for it. We'll be establishing an administration which is going to be looking after the people that are going to be employed for these next 2, 3, 4 years. And the main focus is to create that awareness. And we'll be inviting people. We'll be paying for whatever, the expenses for your traveling and all this. Come to Fiji, learn about things, learn about what it's simply, it's no longer going to be just theory. You'll come here, you'll be able to understand. And there are a lot of native legends and native structures that are still very, 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 very kept by the local people. And to that point that we were talking about sovereignty. I used to, I was telling the elders after we left that, there's only one country right now in the world that still uses the law of the land, and that is Fiji. And, somehow, even before the colonization came in, they see, and they would be able to see the what is going to be happening, and then they prepare. And we have what you call the Volani Kawambula, which is equivalent to in English to the Book of Life. Volani Kawambula is the book of the genealogy of life. Kawa means your genealogy, which is your ancestors and all this. And they were able to keep everyone, the native people, keep everyone in this book. And that's the reason why, there's 95% of the land in Fiji is owned by the native tribe. And we create a trust, which is called the Native Land Trust Board. And this board looks after the relationship between any investors and the native tribe that owns the land. And they will be giving out lists so that the corporate government or the government of the day will be able to use the land for economic expansion. And then after a certain amount of time, 99 years or 33 years, it will return back to the native tribe Matangali. And we have that unique system in the Pacific. And I'm sure the Maori people have seen it. I've heard it, talk about it with the Hawaiian elders, because some of them, they don't even have that identity, and we'll be able to work together to create that. And if that can, if that's how we can begin to grow out of the current corporate structure, and we will do it in that way. And since it's been practiced here for all this time, it's nothing new to us. Like for us, everyone here is sovereign. They own their own land. They have their own farms, and they plant their own food. And it's just that for the past 100 years, there's a lot of indoctrination and all these illusions sneaking into the native villages, and people tend to change their value. Oh, we go to the cities and we go and look for money, and then they ended up enslaving themselves, and they can never live if they don't they don't have things to take back to the village. They're living day to day with what they're getting from living in the city. And until they can change, they can realize that we can just go back to the village, and we can live freely. We don't have to walk. We don't have to do this every day, 24/7 a week. And it's quite hard because people they've gone through the education system. They've gone through the value has changed. And it's not just happening in Fiji, but it's happening all over the planet. It's just over here, like I said in the beginning of the show, of the talk, here is just much easier to change because we have all these structures already in place, and it's already protecting the people. And as soon as the awareness, people are fully aware of how the law of the sea works and how to change from the law of the sea to law of the land. And as soon as they, like that's what I'm doing right now, when I talk to people, they realize that they're not binded to this law of the sea. They're not binded to this democracy, to voting and all this, because we already have a structure that keeps them, protects them. And now they realize the reason why, the government cannot expand economically is because the government don't own the land. It's just the government, but the natives, the people that is sovereign, that owns the land. And so, it's very evident when, for example, when a government official comes to the village, he has to ask for permission, and he brings a cover route to ask for permission to do work with the villagers, or to and that's not happening in any other place in the world because the government owns everything, and that's how sovereignty has been taken away from everyone else. And it's very it's very evident there in Hawaii, even though the lease has been expired by the native by the people that were planting those using those land in to plant and all. They won't be able to at the end they don't have the power to get the land back because they don't have a structure to protect them. So they will need money to pay for lawyers and to be able to work and to be able to work hard to try and get the land back. And it's very good that we're talking and we're communicating. We'll be learning from each other, and that's what simply the trust simply means. Trust is just the trust, and you are the beneficiary. What is in the trust? As you all know, everything which you represent your sovereignty, and to be able to get it back, it's a multidimensional task. It means sovereignty is within you. You just have to remember it. That the trust will give you will be giving back to you what is truly yours. And when it comes down to your to your sovereignty or to the way you the ownership of land, the assets, the gold, whatever asset that asset may be. So it's a big lesson for everyone to learn, and it's very good for everyone to fully understand their role individually in trying to regain that sovereignty and try to regain what it means, what the Manna World Holding Trust and Kin means to that sovereignty that you're trying to get back. So whatever part in the world you may be, whatever structure of governance that you may be in a socialist country, you may be in a capitalism structure of what you call it, the political system, democracy, and all this illusion has come to an end in 2017, and it's time to reset. And we'll have to learn things that only leaders were able to learn. Now the ordinary people all over the planet will have to learn about what they represent as sovereign people of the planet, and they have to work together with the trust to be able to fulfill what that sovereignty means to them individually, as a group, as a family, and then as a tribe, and as a nation. So it's not just any or a special tribe in the planet or the future. No, the agreement is just for us, the 5 tribes that agreed to, right in a very long distant past, was to do exactly what I'm doing right now. Teach people about the God in them, and which simply represents the sovereignty. And so that makes us what we call the spiritual trustee. And if you can if you can talk, and if you can meet and help you remember yourself and what was entrusted to the trust, you will realize that it never left you. The planet was just structured in a way that you lost yourself with the illusion that was introduced to you. So when you learn who you are and how you understand or how you control yourself, how you control the physical body to think, to create illusion and to take away illusion, you'll be able to remember that sovereignty has never left you. It's always there inside you. And I'm amazed and I'm blessed that we are in this point in time, that we are going through these change. And it's like what Tank said, it's fun to actually be talking with people and just enlightening them or just sharing with them. And through sharing, they were able to see, and it's like a mirror. They'll be able to see themselves, and they'll be able to know what to what steps to take, or how they can actually improve from the state of standing where they are at this moment, and then they will be able to move forward. And so this reset is very, very important to understand. If if anyone out there, if you are new and if you're listening, and if you don't understand the reset, the spiritual reset within you, the physical reset outside, this is one of the most you have to try and spend your time to learn it, because that awareness will be able to help you free yourself. And if we can help, then Tank and I, if we from what we are talking about or discussing, that can help you, then that's what our role is supposed to be, And yeah, so it's I'm thankful that we're living in this time, that we'll be able to create a new future. And I look forward to working with everyone, anyone that would need help from from the GCR and in the now or next week or in the future. And I look forward, and and we have nothing else. Just we have a lot of love, a lot of blessings to send to you guys wherever you are in the world, and yeah, a lot of the Mula spirit that we represent. We hope and look forward to seeing and working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tui. Well, we are on a path right now to change everything. So we're the things that are going on in Hawaii. They're coming together around their projects. The people in Fiji, they're coming around and they're focused on changing what they need to in their government, so that they have serious problems that they're now standing up and taking action. And that's really what it's about, us standing up and taking action, doing something to participate in with everyone else that's doing something. It's not about any individual in this area or that area, but there's a system that's been put in place that is taking from everyone and we're not getting anything out of it. The greed has swelled on that side to remove ownership of everything, and then to remove us as they consider us their property. But that's them. So there's two sides of this. They have to come to their own realization that they're also on the chopping block, and that we need to, take action for all of us, to move forward. So I look forward to helping, everyone. That's why I built that site. It's taken a lot of time to organize it and structure it and figure out how it's to work, and to create a social environment. So if you have questions about it, please contact me in Telegram. I can talk you through it, see how you can play a role, what you want to do, what you're working on fits in. So Tui, when we need to create a section on Fiji, we'll add that in, put that into the forums, so that people in Fiji can all then gather around what's going on there in Fiji, right? And then what's going on in Hawaii. So Nate, you've got your idea what you want to do, organizing your people, the people there. So
Indeed.
we can bring
Indeed.
that in and work on how to have a place there to develop that. And so this is just the raw structure. It's just the beginning. Right, so at least we have a place, and what your issue is. If you have a particular issue that yours is about, the problems with food, right? Where would that fit into this, right? And so that's in part of the system of control that they're using. So this would be a red pill area, right? Get into that. Well, there's a lot of things that we'll be putting into, say, I have a plans to do a mirror site. What is being said out there is like a projection. What is the reality is actually happening over here? This is what they say. This is what it is. It's and so the mirror site will I think will take some developing. I didn't include it yet because it's going to take some massive coordination because there's just so vast the amount of information about that, and we need to have a place where we can know where things fit. How does that relate? So I don't have the, I don't have all the information. You guys have the information. You can't give it all to me, right? For me to do it all, right? But this will be a place where you can come and you can talk with me on where you want to fit the information, where you think it fits, and we can say, well, maybe it fits in here, and then you can start bringing your information into this one area. So, I think that we're in a very unique time because things seems to have shifted in so many ways that we have the ability for us to now take some action and focus. And I'm doing this literally 16 hours a day, working on this, right? And I'm not doing other things really. Even on the Kringle coins stuff, just I've got another meeting scheduled. This is with leaders in Liberia to use this as a legal tender in Liberia, to use the TBC coin as legal tender in Liberia. This would be a system in which, if they're able to go forward. Now, I've had these conversations before with leaders in other countries because they need to understand what TBC is or what the cryptocurrency is all about. Now, I know that on the side of Manna, World Holding Trust and everything, they see that the cabal intention to use cryptocurrency as a tool to kill us off. I recognize that. Every tool can be used for good or bad. This is a tool that can be used for good. It is not manipulated by the market, right? It's not in their hands. It can be used as a tool for people to have wealth, and that's what it's been designed for, is to alleviate poverty, to eliminate poverty on the planet. So if the Liberian leaders now can understand this, and they can accept it, and they can start using it, it can happen immediately, right? It's a system, right? That has value in the people, recognizing the value in the individual people. That means if a whole country accepts it, it can be used everywhere. So this is just one way in which the coordination of this is there. So I would put that under restructuring the financial system. This is a massive undertaking, and so everyone that wants to participate, I want to engage with you, and I've created a place where this can happen from. Right, and it will evolve over time. As if you're participating and you're going to take action, you will have a way in which we can all come into one place in which this will be able to be coordinated from. And this is incorporating a lot of the information out there that is so all over the place, but broken down into these main. Well, it's literally about a dozen. So it's 9 basically under these 3 main areas for where we're on the war front, right? We're going up against the deep state. What are the deep state doing? What are their areas? And and what is the plan doing? The plan is trying to break down this into going after the financial system, going after draining the swamp, getting rid of all the corruption out of the system, right? The system is supposed to be there for the benefit. And that's the deviousness of this whole architecture that's been put in place. The pyramid structure, the way of controlling the money, right, is that the people that are down here, right, that's where they put us, in this structure, right? They put us down here. We're being presented with something that is supposed to be in the legal part of this, fair. That we understand that if we work hard, we can work our way up the ladder. You know, but there's a ceiling to this, right? We can't get past it. It looks like there's no ceiling, but it's glass, right? You've heard of the glass ceiling, right? Normally, this is being used to say it's keeping women from ascending, right? But really, it's to keep everyone who is not of their kind, which is, you know, if you are going to follow greed, you know, they will let you through. If they can get blackmail material so that they can control you, they will let you through. So at a certain place, you can't go beyond. And then if you are achieving too much wealth, the system is designed to remove it from you. So the system is not fair, right? It's presented as fair. So now, how do we gather together so that we can change this? Well, we have to go through that hard work, which is happening. That is the good thing. The point of what I'm pointing out on this site. This is a good time. I'll actually go into this. I'll read the front part of this. Go to the home. Oh, I think I'm on the wrong page. Yeah. There. No, nope. I chose the other one. I'm sorry. I've got two windows open here, and I think I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry. No. Let me see. Oh, yes. Okay. It is on that one. All right. I got you now. All right. So back here. So I'll just read the first section here. So we are at war in many ways and on many levels. We are both visible and that are not. We are at war. There are universal rules of war that are honored. Free will is honored. Informed consent keeps us at war. This is the time of the Great Awakening, where we decide to be responsible for ourselves and stop consenting to be at war. With love in our hearts and with our fellow men, we are now consent to be awake to our responsibility to build ourselves an abundance-based world. We are focused on what ways we agree and ignore the ways we are different. Together we are strong. Join the rebellion and support the efforts by participating in forums and providing intelligence for our efforts. So that's the purpose of what we're doing here. Now, there is a plan to save the world. This has been created by the white hats in the U.S. military and the patriots to defeat the cabal, which we have come to call them the deep state. The cabal includes international bankers run by powerful family dynasties and their plans to create a new world order. Some say the plan to save the world started after President Kennedy was assassinated, and others say it goes back to President Dwight D. Eisenhower surrounding the warning about the military-industrial complex. Whenever it's stated, whenever it started, the time to implement this plan kept being delayed. The New World Order has continued to expand to the point that the last few obstacles, including the United States, are set to be removed. The plan was ready to proceed with forced removal of President Obama. If the Patriots could not have a hero take the office of president and occupy the White House, then a coup d'etat would proceed. This would have resulted in riots, confusion, and many would die. Donald Trump answered the call and with assurances from the military for his safety and for himself and his family, the plan could now proceed. Okay, well, the plan, trust the plan. To wage a deep state war, we need to come together and for you to join in our digital army. The goal is to bring dark to light, and the model is where we go one, we go all. The plan uses for the most advanced military artificial intelligence and predictive algorithms to wage this war against the deep state. The cabal has taken hundreds of years working from the shadows to set up the deep state architecture and position the world to fall into a worldwide totalitarian slave state. Here we will provide education, communication, and headquarters for us to help come together. We will go through the plan because it has many goals, phases, and tactics in order to defeat the deep state. So here we are. And as I said, these are the main goals of the plan. Right? It's the Great Awakening. The biggest goal of the war is against the deep state cabal is awaken the people. Without the people knowing there is even a battle, we will sleepwalk into the end of the world. The people of the world are not aware of the depth of the problem and the world is in. And we must awaken to be able to defeat the deep state. Since the mainstream media is 100% controlled by the deep state, including Fox and InfoWars as controlled opposition, an alternative was created called QAnon. And then we also have the destruction of the enemy, and how do we go about that? You're witnessing the systematic dismantling of the deep state. The old guard is a parasite that is feeding off of all of our humanity and is much older than you think, much bigger than you can imagine. Removing it will take time, patience, and planning. The good news is the plan is well underway, and it started with the election of President Trump. And then scarcity to abundance. Our restructuring of the financial system. Any road you take, you'll find the banking system is there to take everything from everyone. Through secret societies, bloodline families, central banks, incorporated countries, interconnected conglomerates, blackmailed politicians, satanic rituals, symbols, mind control, controlled structures far above what we know as government, and much, much more. The wealth of the world has been set up in a pyramid to be invisible, to be sent to a pyramid in the invisible trust. To create abundance-based financial system, we can not just turn off the existing parasite debt-based system without killing the host, us. We have to build our own new system alongside the existing dying system with a bridge to save the people as they flee. That's it. So this is the basis of what we're doing here. So now we need you. You can basically join us. So here we need you. You are important. Your action is devastating to the deep state cabal. It's most important that you join the rebellion and participate. First, educate yourself, but please know that this is not an easy journey. For most, the reality that you are comfortable in will disappear. The truth of what's being done to us is on a truly massive scale is horrifying, and you will grieve for the loss of your comfortable world that you have seen. The Matrix films have given us the concept of of red to wake up and blue pill to go back to your comfortable world. At each level, you will be given red pills to reveal the truth and take you deeper. After each red pill, you will go through 5 stages of grief. They are chronologically denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. At the end of the journey, you will know what to do to help us build a new world based on respect and abundance. So join the rebellion. So there you go. So this is the purpose of this site. Oh, and look, I've got 2 notifications. I clicked on my notifications. Blog posts. Dan likes your post. on cue. Dan likes your post. Welcome to the war room. There we go. Got 2 notifications. Hey, it works. See? And 4 views. So there we go. Really stop sharing there. So anyway, so if you have any questions on where you think that how this works and how you can participate, you need to contact me and we'll go through that. So let's see, what else can we do here? We can go over. So Tui has dropped off. I could go through and about the chat group, and we can cover some of that. I will share that screen with you. So now, if you have any questions, you can put a Q and then ask the question in the super chat. Let's see if we have any questions that I can pick out here. NC Rothschilds are having an art auction on July 4th in London. Billions of priceless art. Interesting. Checkmate. Just got 50,000 wire transfer today through Chase Bank. Okay. All right, Larry. You should give me a call. Yes, contact me through Telegram. My information is down below. I can help you with the 50,000. Let's see. Check out the Scales garage sale prices. Okay. Yeah, I guess on the art, right? So I know what when Tank was talking about. All that stuff is already in the trust. He's correct. All that stuff is in the trust. It was all put in. But we're talking about in that system, the overlay system that is there, that they're manipulating, right? They're moving stuff in the system to give them more money, because every time that money moves, the system creates more money out of the move of the money when it moves around. So let me take you through this scenario. This is about the velocity of money. And the story goes like this. You have a salesman that comes into a town and he's got a meeting to go to. He's got several meetings and he doesn't know how long it's going to take him, but he might have to spend the night. So he goes to the hotel and he says to the owner, and you have a room for me? I just want to put one on hold. I may not stay there, but can I put a deposit? So he gives him $100 deposit on the hotel room, and he says, I'll let you know by 4 o'clock whether or not I'm able to stay or not, whether I need the room or not. Hotel says, fine, sure, I'll take their deposit and I'll hold the room for you until 4 o'clock. So he leaves, goes out for his meetings. Well, the hotel owner is there, and he's got the guy coming in to bring in vegetables for the kitchen, and he goes and he buys $100 worth of vegetables. He uses that $100 that he took as from the gentleman, right? Because he just happened to have it there at the counter. That's the same as $100. So okay, took it. He bought those vegetables. Vegetable vendor went out into go to the pay his bills in the electric company. The electric company took that $100, and the $100 then went in and was used to pay one of the workers in the electric company. And that worker from the electric company went to the mall, and the mall, he spent the dollars, and that went to some people that were in the mall, and they went back to, and they said, well, you know what, we're going to have to spend the night here, so let's go to the hotel. They went and they bought a hotel. They bought a room at the hotel for the $100. And then the guy came in at 4 o'clock and he said, you know what, I'm not going to need to stay. I need my $100 security deposit back. And he took the same $100. So that $100 was used to pay for things, say 10 times. Let's say it went to 10 hands in this chain. And that was $1,000 of currency paying. So that electricity, the currency, the flow happened for $1,000 of the flow on that same $100. So when the Rothschilds are taking in money from an art auction, let's say they got $1 billion for that, right? They're taking asset, right, in their system. They're participating in that transfer of wealth went in for accepting this painting. So the value of the painting got shifted. But they're going to now take that money and they're going to use it within where? Within their organizations to send it to this one, 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 to send it to this one. And they're going to move those funds, that velocity, and they're going to move it fast between their own systems, right? In their own companies. And they're going to move it fast. They're going to move it minute by minute. And send that money around, send it 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 around. They now have money flowing into their system. When TUI was on here, which was way back in the beginning of our conversations 2 months ago, getting into 2.5 months ago, TUI was talking about a system that his grandfather had, where he created a system in which they shared money. That shared money system required a lot of accounting, right? They said the people that were accounting for who was sharing their money, and when they needed to share them, and that meant they were moving the money, moving the money, moving the money, moving the money. And that same money was available to the people that were sharing it, right? And it went back out and it went around in a circle. Ran around and around and around and around. Then everyone had money. So what are the Rothschilds doing when they're selling their art? What are the Rothschilds doing when they're selling their land? Yes, I know that the actual ownership of the land, but they're still in that system. When they're in the corporations and all those companies that they own, and they're moving that inside here, they need to turn on the generator. They're holding on to their chalets and their chateaus and their lands and their art, and they're now moving that into their system. They're creating an engine, a money engine, because they need to do things. And they don't have access to the actual asset that can pull down into the system. They don't have that. So now they're resorting to another manipulation of the money. This is just velocity of money. And so with this velocity of money, they're going to be able to do things. They can do it. So yeah, I'd love to know the system that TUI's grandfather came up with. I know he said he was going to write it down. I don't know if TUI ever got to doing that, but that would be good to see what it is. You know, what was the actual methodology? What was the systems? But you know, when his grandfather had passed away, the system went away. So because it's well, unless you sit down and think about these things on how the money actually flows and what happens when you have that same $100, go and pay 10 people the $100. There wasn't separate $100. It was just used as a medium of exchange and to keep that flowing. It's not a one time and then the money disappears, right? It's holding the value of an exchange. And when that exchange is happening, when it's going around in the circle and you own all the pieces, let's say you own 10 businesses, you just took your same $100 and moved your same $100, into your same 10 businesses. You just made $100 times 10. You had 1,000 businesses and you sent that same $100 to 1,000 of your businesses. You just made 100 times 1,000. Made $1 million. So if you understand how money functions, you can actually manipulate it, right, to your benefit. Is there anything illegal about that? No, it is not illegal. Nothing about that is illegal. It's just you're manipulating the system for your benefit. And that's what the whole system is designed for. It's designed to manipulate it away from the people that don't know what money is, don't understand how it works. Anyway, so we went a little I'll go through, see if we've got some more questions here. Let's see. What boggles my mind is the mere fact that there are rumors arrest the cabal minions with no mention of the final putting the Rothschilds and their own other evil leaders away. Well, I would say I disagree with that in regards to what is in QAnon. The message that's going out is, and when we're talking about the 96,000 sealed indictments, almost 100,000 sealed indictments, is that they are going to go after everyone. And they've said, no deals. The only thing is that there's two ways that it comes down. Justice will be served. If you've harmed somebody, you've hurt somebody from physically, right? If you've done that, you are in a separate category than the people who have done things just for money. The people that have done things just for money, and they say you're high up in this architecture of this structure, of the pyramid structure, the corporate structure, whatever you want to say. It's only been about money. You've been said, okay, you must now get out of the system. Detach yourself, resign, get out of it, move out of the way. If you don't, you're given a date certain. You're out. So that's why we've had thousands of resignations of high-level people around the world. Congressmen that don't run for Congress anymore. What happened to Paul Ryan? He was going to run for president. Is he running? No. He bowed out of government. He was set to, you think he's going to give up that power, right? He's, I'm going to be with my family excuse. No. That guy was set for, he was going to be president. He was focused on that. Even in the GCR, this was presented as a possibility of something that would happen. Paul Ryan would end up being president. And General Dumford would have been vice president. Then it flipped around. General Dumford is now president. Paul Ryan would be, vice president. That flipped around. But those people are offered to get out by date certain if it was only about money. If, on the other hand, it was about harming people, there was going to be great harm coming to you. So I disagree that they are going to be going after them, but that they had to basically change all the people out at the top of these organizations, which were the bad players. They had to be removed. And the Mueller report was just like the tip of the iceberg of the offense that is where things start. That's the starting gun. That's a better way of putting it. When the Mueller report comes out, now that Mueller report is being used as a weapon, not against Trump, but against the deep state. That's happening right now. It's being now dug into and saying, well, why didn't you dig into this guy? I forgot his name, but he ends up being Italian Secret Service or some Italian CIA. And so why didn't you reveal Mueller? Why didn't you reveal this information? That's important to know, intelligence officials that are part of this Steele dossier. No, but the stage has been set. It's going to be coming. They're going to be coming out now for these people. But it's gonna still take. Is Hillary going to be on the chopping block right now? Is Obama going to be on the chopping block right now? Quite possibly. But when? Is it after Comey? Sure. They're going to take out Brennan. As soon as Brennan is gone, the former head of the CIA, when he goes down, and he's going down hard. You have Joe DeGenova, who was a former FISA court judge, on Fox saying that that he should be getting 5 attorneys right now, not going on doing interviews. He should have 5. He should be talking to his attorneys. He's in trouble. You have that happening in the front. That means that this is really starting to shift. But after Brennan, after Comey, when they start looking like they're done for, right? They're arrested. Hillary and Bill are going to be going right after. Obama is going to be going right after. Bushes are going to go right after. Yes, all of those political dynasties are corrupt. They're not on one side or another side. They're on their own side. They're on the elite side. Everything else that they do is just a projection to keep the people busy. All right. I will continue here. Let me see. Prince's sister is Betsy DeVos. Who's that? Oh, maybe Eric Prince. Maybe that's what it was talking about. Yeah, in Australia, MI5. All right. Okay, a million blessings to fellow creators. Okay, yes, thank you. Let's see. Who's a troll? I don't know, referring to, but anyway, we'll skip that. Trolls are not welcome. Please just go. Hank, is Kim's current plan with her bank, our accounts in that bank, and her ability to send funds to her own bank? Can't answer that one. I definitely don't know. I don't think that kind of information is going to really help anyone right now when they're trying to get the money into the hands of the project owners. Talking about what the plans are and how that will this week. When they've solved the problem, that's when that information comes. Has everyone ever thought about arresting the Rothschilds and their counterparts? I think we just covered that. All right. So we had 214 viewing and 42 thumbs up. So right now we're down to 116 watching and 92 thumbs up. Keep those thumbs up coming. Are we at the bottom of the list here? Oh, no, there we go. Okay. Parallax view. Yes, that was parallax view. Talking about on the website how it's a particular view on how things slide. Okay. So you're saying her own bank in her own country under the Treasury Department, that's supposedly shut down? It's about disconnecting the ability for things to flow, right? So where there's a blockade, they've been cut out of the picture. Obviously, if you're made a deal and you have control over that system, right, and you're moving funds into here, and they're allowing it to go in for the countries. They're allowing it to go into the before when it was in the going to Treasury, it would then go to the Pentagon. But then they renege on the deal, and she reverses it, right? Takes the money back, pulls it back from them. the next deal is different. You know, that's why, you know, okay, well, we're just not going to send anything or allow anything to go in. You know, change the codes or disconnect their codes from being able to work to move things around. All right, let's see. Okay, Lucid Dreamer, YouTube, 2 satellites shut down. Oh, I didn't hear about that. Okay. No, she is a sovereign country. Learn the banking system. Well, the unknown country is the name of the country, part of the banking system label for the trust. Her bank cannot be under the Treasury Department if it's not in this country. Well, I don't know. You know, her bank as it is at the top of all the banks. When we're talking about the unknown country, the trust. It has it was superior to all the others across the world, and above the Treasury and above the IMF and above the BIS. Okay. Narrowing down, but it's not working. All right. What does Thomas mean when, or who us he's referring to when he says the portal people? Okay, the portal people are the people on the, at least I believe that's what he's referring to, are the people on the TV, right? They're looking through this portal. You know, these people that are on the, let's say the fake news, the mainstream media. That's the portal. Oh yeah, see, mainstream media. Yeah, everyone's answering the question. Yes, that's it. Mainstream media is the portal people. So Larry is still saying, I just had 50,000 wired to me through Chase Bank today. Money is still being wired. Money is transferred through the SWIFT system too. Well, okay. Can money still flow from bank to bank? Yes. Is there the system was where the Fed had to basically approve all of them at a certain point, and then that's what the SWIFT system was all about. So is money flowing? Yeah, money flows. Is there been problems with money flows? Yes. I've got confirmation from people in the English banking system when I'm inquiring about things. And there's particular times when there's been problems, right, sending things around. So, yeah. Again, Larry, you can contact me. You've got 50,000. Let's stop. Okay. All right. Yeah, 229 viewers we got up to. Now we've been hitting over 200 to 250 every day, so that's showing an increase. Greenfield's got a question, Dan. Would the quantum system recognize a clone? That's an interesting question. I think it would actually recognize it as a clone, not the original. Just a guess on my part, though, and that's only because the quantum mapping system is like when you're mapping things, you know, there's a path for those things that follow. It's part of the trail. And so that trail would know when something new came into existence and would track it from that point. But that's just a guess on my part. Never can duplicate DNA. I think that there's an issue with DNA. It's a little bit more complicated than people make out when you're talking about cloning and that, because I think it has also to do with the vibrating into existence. And so when something first comes into existence, there's a certain time period, surroundings, elements that all come into place. The time of birth, for example, the influences of the reality around that DNA when it first comes into existence. If it now is vibrating and rebuilt as a clone into something, is there a separate situation, a separate environment at that time? Or is it retaining the original environment? I don't think it's retaining the original environment at that point because it's also executing from a different point. There's also, you heard Dolly the sheep and the cloning that went on with her. There was other clones of Dolly the sheep where when the clone was born, it rapidly aged to the age of the current Dolly the sheep. So there was more than one attempt at so the previous attempts did not work out, right? There's oddities in this, so we don't know everything. Hard to know. And Dan, I'll propose that going forward, the show must be organized within an hour to associate the feeding questions from participants. We may so much phenomenal ideas we'll learn. Okay, good. You're ready to go ahead and organize that, Aaron? You're welcome to go ahead and organize those things. Let me know how you think it best can happen. Duplicate soul. I guess in the cloning question, right? So can you duplicate the soul? I don't think so. I don't think there is a duplicate of a soul, but is there a reflection? Yeah, let's say you had multiple personalities. Excuse me. Hello. Hey, how's it going? Hello, sorry about that. Things happen here, so let me continue. So I was talking about duplicating the soul. That's right. Yeah. So when you're duplicating, when you have a duplicate, let's say the soul is one soul. Well, let's say like you have a multiple personality, right? You would be reflecting in two places. So let's say you had one consciousness. Now maybe you can compartmentalize that, and maybe there's some autonomy to that. But I think there's only one soul. Fairly sure that it's the only way that it can happen. Okay, so, so Louis is saying, sorry guys, not doing well. I made a solar thing so cat batteries could not go dead in my cat. You have batteries in your cat. Oh, I think he meant car. See, typos mean everything, right? Okay, so Larry here, Larry is the one talking about the money and transferring several large transactions. So, well, again, transactions are going through. When one business goes to another business, you're going to go send something through Western Union. But sometimes those things are also having problems being sent because the money's the banks are not capitalized enough so that they don't have the liquidity to send out the money. So if let's say that them send the banks are not able to have enough capital, and if they remove that capital from the bank and sent it to you, it meant that their bank collapses. They're not going to send you the money. But if you have enough, for transferring, making sure that you're able to maintain the bank itself, then it can go through. Anyway. Let's see. Okay, dear Ra, I've done that for many years. Okay. 3 hearts. Okay. I don't want to get into the emoji debate. Okay, Dan keeps pushing the Q theory with no regard for our approach from create change. I'll have to confront Tank on that issue. Our voices need to definitely be listened to on the show. I have no problem talking with you about this. I have a difference about how this, way I see Q and the way that the plan that Q is talking about is not the same plan as the Cabal plan. That's my opinion about it. And this is, the way that, from the information that I've known about this, I've known about this particular plan to defeat the Cabal as not part of the GCR, not part of the GCR. Has it overlapped with the GCR with those people? I'm sure that they got involved with it because they thought that they were dealing with good people, right? But ultimately, this plan, as it was described to me, was a 5-inch binder that has been going around and passed from patriot to patriot, figuring out how they can defeat this shadow government that's been formed. That's what I know about it, right? From people that I was personally able to interface with. It's nothing to do with the Agenda 21, the UN plans, the Cabal plans, to take over everything. And as I said, the whole idea of what was going on with, let's say, the GCR. My question along the way was, how does this all work? Who's really behind it? Is it really the good guys ultimately behind the last curtain, or is it a good guy or a bad guy? I questioned that all along the way. Did I ever associate the GCR with the with it being part of the plan of what I say this Patriot plan is? I think the Patriot plan, the plan to save the world, the U.S. military's plan to save the world from these, was completely a different plan. Was there overlap and people got confused with what side they're on or what part of the plan they're in because of the GCR? Sure, I'm 100% know that people that were part of the GCR, right, were also part of the plan to basically remove the deep state cabal, because they thought that's what the GCR was about. And they said, well, yeah, new money system based upon assets. Yes. So yes, I think that this Q plan is something completely different. And I'm open to being my mind changed about it. So please, if you have some evidence that you want to bring up and talk about it, let's talk about it. I'm open. All right. So let's see. Louis Colbert, command your body to return back to the natural state of perfect divine health. And if you, Abby, oh, I don't know that word, run under water in your hand. I don't know what that means. Abby, us, whatever. All right, I'll just skip that. So skip the three hearts conversation. Let's see, the banking system is not down if where the accounts would be inaccessible. Yes, the whole banking system, the whole point is the system cannot go down without causing major people to starve. Right? If things don't happen, just-in-time inventory into grocery stores, just for what, trucking, moving of goods and services, electricity. It's all an integrated system. Money has to flow. Let's see. Well, why did Dan say it was when he walked in? Well, Tank was talking about Wells Fargo. He has an app that was, when he's accessing the app, it was saying, and usually uses a thumbprint, fingerprint for access. Now it's saying they were going to use facial recognition. And as for the other was a treasury check. I don't know what bank it was going. They were going in to check it. I don't think he said that was Wells Fargo. I may be mistaken, but I don't think that was it. All right. Let's see. As long as they don't mess with our Social Security, Tank said it's making sure that it doesn't happen along with other. Yeah. Social Security is you're the beneficiary, right? So the funds were all moved up into the trust, and they want to keep making sure that people have access, right? They don't want the system to stop. So those things will continue. Yes, Judy is replying to Aaron, and Dan is doing his own website, not connected to create change. I know it gets confusing. Yeah. So yeah, this is a own website. I actually started before I started having conversations with Tank. I would have finished the website 2 months ago if I didn't start this focus. But the idea is really to for the same goal, though, right? We're talking about creating a new world. I just see that there is a big movement to create a new way of defining information flow. And this is my attempt to help organize that data so that people will have access, because it's so massive out there. Even just trying to break it down into just this many categories. There's still a lot of categories, but it's because it's so massive. That's why I broke it down to 3 main areas, and each of those down into 3. So it's at least you can follow a simple decision on where things may end up. All right. I'll take back my private citizenship first. I know Tank had talked about, when we talked about citizenship, is like what does citizenship actually mean? It's actually the debt slavery system. In other words, if you are a citizen, you are a debt slave. So he was saying, well, why do when I have a citizen as the entry level position there, it's because when you enter the website, unless you have already taken your steps to be sovereign, that your system is going to be you're part of the system. So you're a citizen to come into this. So you take a first step, to join the alliance, become an alliance level. You're, a rebel. Rebel. You join as a rebel. You're then joining the alliance, and you're taking your steps to not be a citizen, not be the debt slave. That's why I put it in there. But anyway, some of these words, private citizenship. These are all problematic. Okay? Private is okay. Citizenship, okay. Citizen on a ship. You're on the waters. You're in maritime law. Enough said. Yeah, Social Security is safe. They're not going to touch it. Keep back the money in the bank and try and grasp us. Keep the money in the bank, still trying to grasp us all. Yeah, I don't grasp your question there, or if it's a question, just a statement. Anyway, just wanted to let you know about the HOA of this park telling me home association. Yes, owner association. I guess that's what you meant. Telling me if I don't have my house painted their colors, they're going to fine me each month for each thing they say that is wrong, and I don't have any. So, yeah, well, these are agreements, right? Homeowners associations. You agree to be in with a group. It's a private agreement, and if part of that agreement is them doing it. Now, if it wasn't in your first agreement that you signed when you got into this, then you can bring that up and say, listen, I never agreed to this, so I'm not going to do it. And then you can go to court and deal with it. That's the whole system of it's all about money arbitration. Okay, let's see. So Eric is saying, your point is quite understandable. However, many of us are here because Tank encouraged the Grace Dance show. This is a thing that we must participatory, to say the least. Yes, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate everything. This is a very interesting, dynamic that Tank and I got together to do this, right? And it is definitely unfolding, right? But I'm very much see how Create Change, has a lot of its mission, what it wants to do, and I'm all into helping, with Create Change. Let's see, any money to do that, and we know it if we have to do it. The lab thing on my house. Oh, put a lien on my house. I'm still paying on. I'll have to pay their price, or they'll take my house. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a very difficult situation, though. That's the whole point, is this system is designed to remove our assets, even if it's not really legal, or it's a fraudulent the way they do it. Whole mortgage system in itself has a lot of problems. The robo signing that went off, to get people out of the houses. It's all about vacating the houses, but keeping them off the market so the market doesn't crash. They're just about making us into where we have not even our own place to stay. Remove home ownership. That's why socialism and communism is the form of government they're trying to push. I don't know about Mad Dog and the new Social Security card. I don't know what that is. Someone could send me a link on that. I'm always interested in that information. So at the Buyer Freedom. Okay. You know, they're talking again about Tank doesn't give credence to the QAnon following. Well, it gives credence to the fact that it's woken up people and people are digging in and being citizen journalists on that front. And this is, you know, something that is really engaging, you know, to get people to start thinking. Otherwise, without it, would there be anyone thinking? You know, so few people out there actually do all the digging. I'm sure everyone that's watching, and we have 118 people watching right now, you guys do research and you dig into things, right? Most people don't, right? But this has caused millions and millions of people to start actually doing things, digging in. That changes things. Mad Dog was outed in Tommy last week for those cabal agents. I heard, I guess, urging listeners to change their current SS card to a gold lynch card. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is either. Right. Okay, so scrolling by here. Okay. Now, Kim has been paying the Social Security. She's been putting all the money in the system over the last year and a half, I guess. No, maybe not quite a year and a half. It was March. It started in March of 2018, so just over a year. That's why we do here on Jekyll Island in Georgia, owned by Rockefeller, leased land, never owned it. I think it's actually was owned by the Payseers. So that's another piece of information I recently came upon. So you live next to Jekyll Island. That's interesting. Let's see. Oh, dear Jenny, one of my projects for the RV when I thought it was happening was to help people like us, Social Security, disability, one of my projects. Yep. There's a lot of people want to help that project out. I've got a project along the same lines, but it's actually to, it was a way of working with people to get money that's in their hands doubling by the time they use it. That means, and it would work from the people starting at $1 and below, and then start working up the level, actually increasing by when you spent the money. It actually got the money back to you in the form of points. I just use points as a reference, and then you could redeem those points and basically get money back. So, okay. And towards the bottom here, talking about projects. It's good to see people are focused on their project. All right. Okay, so we hit the bottom here. Okay, so what is I'm still around waiting for Dan to get to my previous comment regarding the authority in my country, Liberia decision to use TBC. Oh, that's you. Well, I responded. Not to you, but Victoria Flores. So meeting is being set up for this coming Saturday to discuss that. So we, if they're able to use, and I did talk about this a little bit earlier, but if Liberia would accept to use TBC Kringle coin as their medium of exchange, as a legal tender, that means that everyone would be able to exchange it within the country. So I've had other conversations with other people and other leaders of countries about this subject. And it's always been the central bank that's been the problem with that, not wanting to do it. So if the country wants to do it and the central bank doesn't, this is a much better time to make this happen because central banks are losing their power. And I don't know if it's if some of these countries are able to do it now. The Philippines has nationalized their central bank, but Liberia would probably have to nationalize and use new people. But that also means that this, when they did this, that they would have to now they're out of that system that was providing them funds. So how do they interface with the rest of the world? So this is all topics that have to be brought up. So it's not as easy as you may want to think, just because the country leaders decide they want to use it. It's possible, but it always depends. And this is a much better time to make it happen than it was even a year ago. So, all right, let's see where that goes. All right, well, I think we've caught up on all the chat. So let's we'll get back here. So let me just say, I appreciate everybody for joining in. we are definitely having a lot of topics, and we jump around on a bunch of things, but that's what it is. We've got a lot covering on what's going on. So let's see where we take this and how well we're going to end up creating a new world for ourselves. So why don't you let me know if there's any information you want to talk about. Contact me in Telegram. Please, go look at where we go. We go all.love. It's there's the free part that gets you tied into the blogs. The $11 a month is for the when you want to engage and start working on the in the forums and participating in there. And then beyond that, I appreciate all of your help. This is any support that you want to provide is well received. So I'd like to thank you, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, and have a good day.